In this video, I'm gonna share with you guys how I receive payments in the many different ways that I do, and a very simple trick that will help you get tipped more in the professional auto detailing world. Now let's get straight into it. What's going on? So glad you're here and welcome back to the Wilson Auto Detailing community. If you're a professional auto detailer who wants to become more successful and profitable in your business, or just a car enthusiast who wants to improve your detailing ability, then definitely consider hitting that big red subscribe button right below this video. So as per many subscribers' request, I'm gonna shoot a very short and quick, simple video to share with you guys how I kind of get paid in my professional auto detailing world, because obviously there's many different ways to go, and there are some pitfalls that I've learned over the past 7 years of doing this that I want you guys to be able to avoid. So for the sake of this video, I'm gonna share with you guys the 3 main ways that I receive payment, and number 1 is probably the most obvious, and that is cash. Obviously, if you're starting out in the auto detailing business, the most obvious way you're going to get paid is cash money. You don't have to deposit it, you can keep it in your pocket, you can put it in your wallet, it doesn't have to go to the bank, you can put it anywhere, and it still is going to work just the same. So as opposed to something like a check or a credit card or things like that, cash is probably the most liquid, and it's the easiest way to receive payment, because most people want to be able to pay you in cash, because a lot of times it allows them to kind of tip you in a simple way, and it's easier on the customer as well. But of course, this day and age, a lot of people are paying with plastic and things like that. So cash is becoming more and more something that is kind of a thing of the past almost, even in the world of professional auto detailing. Now, as a rule, and if you guys have read on my website, and something that you guys may or may not want to implement in your professional auto detailing business, is simply that if I am dealing with a first-time customer, somebody who I've never done business with in the past before, I only accept cash as payment. And that is simply because credit cards get declined, debit cards get weird sometimes, checks bounce, and so those things don't happen a lot. But of course, if I've never done business with a person, I want to make sure that I am taking the safest route possible. And so on my website, I make it very clear that if it is the first time that I've done business with you, then I only expect and receive cash from those customers, and it's really just for safety reasons on my end. Now, the second way that most people will probably pay you other than a credit card or cash is going to be a check. Now, checks, again, are something that are like dwindling in the world. People aren't carrying around checkbooks anymore, but one great thing about a check is simply that it is very easy on the customer. They don't have to go to the bank and get cash. They don't have to worry about any sort of like hassle on their end. They can just write some things, write a number down, give you the check, and bam, the transaction is done. However, as I said before, one pitfall that I found with checks in the past is that very rarely, but sometimes checks do bounce. And so having to deal with that with a customer, not only is it kind of awkward and like embarrassing kind of for them, but it's just kind of a long drawn out process where you're trying to get paid and you're still not receiving the cash, but you already did the work, and it's kind of just a deal that I like to avoid altogether. So do I accept checks? Yes, I do. Do I accept checks from first-time customers? Not at all. The only people I accept checks from are people who I know, a lot of times maintenance clients, people who I've done business with before, and people that I know are kind of going to have the money in the account to give to me through a check. Now, the third and probably most exciting way that I receive payment these days, and probably the most exciting way for you and your business, is going to be debit cards, credit cards, and plastic. And I use something called Square. So I really want the bulk of this video to be talking about Square, because a Square reader is like revolutionary to me, because a small business owner can literally take any debit card, credit card, or most debit cards, most credit cards, and receive that payment within like the next 24 to 48 hours. So what's amazing about the Square reader is actually that this can hook up to any sort of like iPhone, Android, smartphone, iPad, anything with like a little headphone jack, and you stick it in there, and of course you can slide it and receive payment. So these Square readers are actually free. So in order to receive one of these or get one of these mailed to you, you actually just go to, I believe it's called square.com or squareup.com. Google it. It'll be really easy. I'll put a link below in the description box below this video. But they actually send these to you for free. They don't cost anything, because Square is set up to take a very, very small percentage of every transaction that you do through the Square. So that's how they get paid, and that's why this is free. So I've actually got my Square reader account pulled up on my phone, because I want to show you guys actually what this does. Let's see if if we can get it to focus in here. And you guys are kind of able to see that I have this kind of like scroll or this like list of different like services that I provide. So you got like two-door sedan, two-door convertible, large truck, small truck, Jeep, all that sort of thing. And actually these prices are outdated. I haven't updated these in probably about 2.5, 3 years. But what this allows me to do is keep a catalog of exactly the minimum price that I charge for each job. And so if somebody wants to use plastic, a credit card, a debit card, I can just assume, okay, we did a 4-door truck, bam, I click my 4-door truck, it automatically charges them, $150, $160, whatever that is, and I can swipe the card. And so it allows me to keep a very organized log of exactly how much I charge. But most of the time, because detailing is not an exact science and I don't have a specific price like right off the bat, I have more of a range. Most of the time I'm not using this catalog like option that I've created, but I come down here and I'm using this more of like a register type of thing. And so this is normally where I type in exactly how much I charge, because after I get done, I know exactly how much the job costs. And so I'm gonna say, oh, this job, is a minimum of 150, but it's gonna be about 190. I type in 190 right here, and then I am able to literally just swipe the card. The transaction goes through. It tells me if the card is authorized, and it'll also tell me if it gets declined, so I know that the payment went through. And then Square pays me around 24 to 48 hours afterwards. So we've talked about Square, we've talked about the Square account. It's actually very simple. It's super user friendly, and again, these things are free. And one thing I will mention is that because the Square takes a very small percentage, I think it's around like 2% or something of every transaction, you can actually add that into your cost, to your price. So in other words, if I charge $150 for a truck, but I know Square takes 2% of that, then I actually just kind of add in as a sort of sales tax that 2%, so that that's not coming out of my fund, that's coming out of the customer. It's a sales tax sort of thing. So you can actually configure all of that in settings. The last thing I want to show you guys is a little trick that I use with the Square that I actually get tipped. It causes me to get tipped more than I would if I was just getting paid check or cash. And what happens is in the Square account, and this might be a little bit difficult to see, but you guys will be able to see it if you actually order this and have this done on your own phone. It's very, very user friendly again. But I have a settings tab, okay? So I just click settings, and there's a little category that says tipping. And so I can click tipping, and I can actually set for a tipping screen to pop up after the person swipes their card. And then I can have it set in dollar amounts, like give a $5 tip, $10 tip, $20 tip, or I can set it in percentages, 5% tip, 15%, 25% tip. I set it in percentages because generally, not that you're trying to be deceptive or anything, but generally people can't do percentages in their head, and so they'll just click 15%, and 15% of a $200 transaction is more than just a simple $10 tip or $5 tip. It's more. You're getting tipped more that way, even though the customer might not, calculate that or realize that in their head as they're doing it. So again, it's not a deceptive thing, it's just honestly a business strategy. And one other thing that you need to note is that by putting a tipping screen after they swipe their card, it is easy for people to tip you when they're not giving you cash. Like psychologically, there's a lot of studies that show that people have a much harder time giving away cash than they do swiping their card. And so when you swipe your card and there's a tip screen, people are very, very quick to just click a button and have an automatic tip go out without really even registering what they're doing. And so that is a very quick tip that I give you guys on the Square, and why I love the Square so much, because it really is just a way that to make more money without having to do more work, honestly. And once again, it's not a deceptive thing or a lazy thing. It's just an honest business strategy. Next time you go to, somewhere that like a small coffee shop that has an iPad and they, are using the Square, but they're swiping it through, you'll see when they turn the screen your way, there's a tipping screen for you to be able to do that. And so once again, it's a very, very smart business strategy, and Square makes it very, very easy for you to do that. So there you go, guys. Those are the 3 main ways that I receive payment in my Wilson Auto Detailing world here in Middle Tennessee. 3 very easy ways and 3 very quick tips and strategies for you guys that you might want to implement in your world. Of course, if you guys have any questions, which you may, because this can be kind of a complicated subject as far as money is concerned and transactions in your business, definitely leave all all those questions, comments, concerns below in the YouTube comments because I always read those and I'm sure to get back to you guys as fast as I can. Of course, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. And if you are new to the Wilson Auto Detailing community, then definitely consider subscribing because I come out with weekly videos just like this on products, tools, strategies, communication skills, business skills, and so much more, all in an effort to help the pro detailers become more successful and profitable in your businesses. And on this channel, I share the same strategies that allowed me to take my auto detailing business into a full-time income with only part-time hours. So if that interests you, definitely subscribe. Thank you guys so much for being so involved. And as always, from Luke here at Wilson Auto Detailing, keep working hard, and I'll see you guys in the next video.